What's up, guys? It is Monday, June 19th. It's 11:55 a.m. and this is the crypto newsletter. So IMF official presents blueprint for cross-border CBDCs. The organization wants to help cut the cost of cross-border transactions without abandoning compliance checks or capital controls, Tobias Adrian, director at IMF's Monetary and Capital Markets Department, said. So we had covered so many videos in March, but then in September, October of last year about Tobias Adrian, because he seems to be leading the charge as far as the IMF and this global kind of unified ledger, this CBDC system. And I'll pull up a couple of things from the past so we can look at that and kind of see how this is kind of going hand in hand with what we're seeing right now. So right here, we had a cross-border payments exchange and contracting platform for the 21st century. This is Tobias Adrian right here. And cross-border payments can be slow, expensive, and risky. In today's world of payments, counterparties in different jurisdictions rely on costly, trusted relationships to offset the lack of a common settlement asset together with common rules and governance. But imagine if a multilateral platform existed that can improve cross-border payments at the same time transforming foreign exchange transactions, risk sharing, and more generally financial contracting. A common ledger, smart contracts, and encryption offer significant gains to market efficiency, completeness, and access, as well as to transparency, traction, and compliance costs and safety. Today, my remarks will provide an overview of the current landscape and then present a path forward on how a newly designed multilateral platform could enhance cross-border payments and eventually simulate the provision of key international public goods and infrastructures. So many things to unpack in this, but I had covered this in a video, so let me pull that up. So we had this video, this was back 3 months ago in March. IMF confirms XRP and XLM as a common global multi-currency settlement asset. Same kind of verbiage here, multilateral platform, talking about a common settlement asset, right? And if we go back to that, let's see. So it was this document back November 4th, 2022, a multi-currency exchange and contracting platform by Adrian Tobias. And if we go into it, it was jam-packed. And let's get to the part. Oh yeah, so this was it. So he had originally shared the document back, it was in October, November of last year. But then there was a follow-up and it talked about, it was in March, and it was trust bridges and money flows, a digital marketplace to improve cross-border payments, Tobias Adrian. And it said the paper ends with a suggested global marketplace to trade tokenized money directly across borders. Then if we keep going here it was trust bridges and money flows. And as we get down to the glossary, we had XRP crypto asset by Ripple. Huge, absolutely huge, guys. We're so close, so close. And if we go down to it, 3 models arise. So this is the conclusion of the paper. A private settlement asset and marketplace such as Ripple's XRP and open source marketplace such as the Stellar Foundation, or more recently DeFi networks, and a marketplace and settlement asset based on unbacked crypto assets such as Strike, which leverages Bitcoin and the Lightning Network. Not happening. It's not number 3, it's number 1 and it's number 2. Going hand in hand. And honestly, seeing this again makes me cheese because they're showing us the way right here. It's truly unreal. So that was the video I covered back 3 months ago. So if you haven't seen this, I'll put the link for this video in the bio. Huge, absolutely huge. So I'll make sure I put that in there. But now let's dive into what was unveiled today. So new platforms for cross-border central bank digital currencies could be more efficient and safe while still ensuring countries can impose compliance checks and capital controls, an official from the IMF said on Monday. And keep that in mind, compliance checks, capital controls is still ensuring it for a new platform for cross-border central bank digital currency. Remember that. Tobias Adrian, director of the IMF's Monetary and Capital Markets Department, reckons one global CBDC platform that will allow for capital controls could cut payment costs, but such a vision is a far cry from crypto enthusiasts' dream for decentralized financial system. Our blueprint for a new class of platforms would enhance and ensure greater interoperability, efficiency, and safety in cross-border payments, as well as in domestic financial markets. The cost, sluggishness, and opacity of cross-border payments comes from limited infrastructure. And Kristalina Georgieva, the managing director of the IMF, was working hard on a global infrastructure to enable different CBDCs to work with each other. The new system, also outlined in the IMF FinTech note published Monday, could program payments without payees giving precious private information to intermediaries and saving liquidity by letting contracts be pledged as collateral without changing the fully fungible nature of money. Adrian first proposed the idea of a CBDC platform in September of last year. So that was the one that I showed in that video. The ledger would be controlled by the platform operator. The single ledger would ensure there's a unique description of who owns what so no double spending can occur. And we go down here. Crypto proponents often cite easier cross-border payments as a major benefit, but there's plenty of competition against free-floating blockchain solutions being used for that purpose, not least as standard setters don't want to undermine government controls. The Bank for International Settlements and private players such as SWIFT are both looking at options involving state-backed CBDCs. And the Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructures, a standard setter linked to the Bank for International Settlements, is looking at the impact of stablecoins, tokens tied to the value of fiat currency, while a report from the European Central Bank last year poured cold water on the idea crypto can cut international payments costs. So then let's go to the next thing. Because Ripple's Antoinette presenting to the IMF on cybersecurity / XRP ledger, plus Ripple is the only company that monitors and reports suspicious activity on the blockchain. Going back to what they said about still enabling those compliance checks, being able to impose those still. So let's take a look at this.
One step further, even if we did introduce AML regulation that was globally applicable to all institutions, all digital currency exchanges, irrespective of jurisdiction, I want to tell you it won't really, it's not going to be able to effectively handle the transaction risk. Because all transactions are happening underneath, on the blockchain, underneath these digital currency exchanges. The transactions that are going through the exchanges, yes, they're going to be monitoring that type of activity, but who is monitoring the transactions that are conducted on the blockchains themselves? There is no financial institution today, there's no company today, with the possible exception of Ripple Labs, that has been required by regulators to monitor and report on suspicious activities that are being conducted on the blockchain.
So no one but Ripple Labs, she said. So there we go. And then we have IMF presents blueprint for cross-border payments. This was what I just read, talking about the digital dollars bipartisan problem. And then Bank of England CBDC consultation amounts to a national scandal, applying the extended attitude formation theory of a digital euro. This was a little bit more about central bank digital currency news, but I want to keep going on the IMF because we have also too, this was what they proposed back in September of 2022. A new global CBDC platform could cut payment costs, IMF says, and they remain skeptical about a private system, but is pushing for new ideas on state-backed digital currencies. And the officials said that calls to regulate a crypto sector that officials say is unstable, inefficient, and riddled with fraud. And the international organization dedicated its quarterly magazine to the money revolution, but other authors offer scant hope for crypto advocates, with public officials largely favoring state-backed solutions such as central bank digital currencies. We keep going down. Talking about Tobias Adrian, the platform would accept CBDC payments, hold them in escrow, and issue tokens against them. The private sector would be able to extend the uses of the platform by writing smart contracts. And the IMF suggested that about 97 countries are researching, testing, or deploying CBDCs. And how would that work together to enable cross-border payments, right? So now let's keep going forward because June 20th, tomorrow, the BIS is laying out a blueprint for the future monetary system underpinned by central bank digital currency, opening up a new era in the joint development of the monetary system and the economy. And June 25th is the official kind of report and discussing the challenges facing central banks and the risks of financial stability during the final and most difficult phase of the fight against inflation. And they're talking about this unified ledger. So they're going to explore combining money, assets, and information on a common programmable platform, a unified ledger. And that's going to be pre-released tomorrow, but then on June 25th, it's officially coming out. So we have both these things working in tandem, the IMF and then the BIS. Then also too, we have since 2019, we've shown XRP as wholesale, XLM as retail, and XDC as trade. The news consistently supports research year after year and know what you hold 100% because then we even got this, the Mariana Project for Trade and Settlement of a Wholesale CBDC. Source, the Bank for International Settlements. Ripple and Stellar are two blockchain-based companies that are trying to make value transfer cheaper. Ripple provides various services via the use of its native token, the XRP, which is roughly envisioned as an international payment medium or wholesale settlement coin, a common settlement asset to be used for the value exchange or value transfer of these central bank digital currencies on one common platform. You see what I'm seeing here? So all that we're waiting for is regulatory clarity. And we got Stellar and Ripple sitting at this right here and here. And then you got Google. Here's the source. I'm not going to go to it. It says it's unsafe, but they sometimes put that there based off they don't want you to see it. But somebody provided an additional source here. So this was from the Atlanta Fed. I think this came out in May of this year. They had outlined this. So this is, I think, the first time I'm seeing this, talking about tokenization, DeFi, exchanging value. We go down, collateralized lending, making payments, Web3, currency exchange. So where it had a currency exchange, boom, proof is in the pudding. It's right there, right there. So it makes me cheese, man, because that dude was right. The research over the years is finally coming to fruition with all the publicly announced news as of late. Then Ripple versus SEC settlement, former SEC director doubts it, says ruling might come in days. This was updated today. So we have all these things being unveiled in the next couple of days, have all these documents from these international organizations having Ripple and XRP and XLM there. And then we have a ex-former SEC director saying a ruling might come in days. Could be coincidental timing or something's planned right now. But then you have the Unicoin, a global legal tender settlement CBDC. This was unveiled at the IMF spring meeting in 2023. And I'm going to save this for the deep dive for today, because I was on a cruise when this was released, but now's the time to peel back this layer and go deep diving on this to see if we can find any correlations to what's going on with the IMF, the BIS, Ripple, XRP, and even just seeing this right now, Tobias Adrian, written all over it. So we're going to dive into this in the deep dive today. So if you're new here, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? If you've been here for a bit, appreciate your support, and come join the Discord. Link will be in the bio. That is the crypto news for today. Things are accelerating. Things are heating up. Summer's around the corner. It's about to be summer solstice in 2 days. So summer's here. It's getting hot. Things are accelerating. So come join the Discord. Link's in the bio, and I'll see you guys in the deep dive later today. Make sure you have notifications on. I'll see you there.